Damba, Jamdende, the Java, Dajumba, Yandamba, Zobe, Zange, Rigba, Jamsu, Demba, Devara, Java, Jiden, Jamba, Jebu, Debe, Galo, Jorva, Lana, Meva, Lada, Menam, Jitamba, Sanje, Chumdende. Bejawa jaja duba la jaze lo jodo japsu che ho dumba chomden de deje shewa ta chomba yanda wan zobe sanje rigba dan japsu demba devara shewa jiden chemba jebu dube kalo jorwa lana meba Lada menam je domba zanje jumden de bejawa jaja tuba la jaze lo chodo jazu che wo domba jumden de dijin shewa ta jumba yanda wan zobe zanje rigba dan shabsu demba devara shewa jiden jemba jebun dube kalo gyurwa lana meva Lada menam je domba zanje jumden de bejawa shaja tuba la chazel chudo jaso che ho sanje chudan soje chonamala changshu padu tani jaso che Dagi chushin jibe sonamanje dola penche sanje dumbara sho sanje chudan soje chonamala Janju Badu Dani Janju Dagi Chushe Jibe Sonamanje Jola Benje Zanje Jubara Sho Zanje Jola Zoje Chonamala Janju Badu Dani Janju Dagi Chushe Jibe Sonamanje Jola Benje Zanje Jubara Sho Good morning to everybody. Hope you can hear me clearly. I can see the usual diehards here. Okay, so I wanted to begin with this one. In the first chapter of Bodhicaryavatara, when Shantideva was extolling the benefits of Bodhicitta, so one of the line goes like this: just as a plantain decays upon losing its fruits, so does every other virtue wane. But the tree of the spirit of awakening perpetually bears fruit, does not decay, and only flourishes. So in Tibetan, Gyawa Shingu Chushin Shindu ni Debu Jene Sebra Juwa ni Chanju Semji Junshin Takbara Yang Debu Chimbe Mise Pewa Jurus. So just recently I came across a teaching by His Holiness that was given many years ago, and it somehow really brings the point of this stanza. So His Holiness goes to explain the importance of motivation. In explaining, he gave these examples. He says that if we are to cultivate any virtue with intention to secure a good human rebirth, so once we achieve a human rebirth, let's say if we do a virtue in order to achieve a good human rebirth in our next life, and when we achieve that human rebirth, that virtue, that positive karma is finished, is completed. There's no more that particular virtue is left. We used up because we have achieved what it is intended for. And then we have this kind of virtue or positive karma that we cultivate in order to achieve liberation, nirvana. So that virtue, according to His Holiness, will remain as long as or until we achieve liberation. So it's not whether we take 10 lives or 20 lives, it doesn't finish. It is still with us. It will remain with us until we achieve liberation. And then finally, we have these kind of virtues where we cultivate in order to achieve enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings, and also to liberate every sentient beings. So His Holiness marvels at that kind of virtue by saying that this kind of virtue, even when we achieve enlightenment, even when we become enlightened, because we have dedicated that merit to liberate all sentient beings, every single sentient beings, that virtue will remain until we are able to exhaust the samsara, where everybody is liberated. So this really explains or gives meaning to this stanza when Shantideva says that the tree of the spirit of awakening perpetually bears fruit, does not decay, and only flourishes. So I thought that that was such an excellent explanation. That's why we say that we have to do everything, every virtue we have to do with the motivation of bodhicitta. So these are the benefits if we are able to develop bodhicitta. And for the past weeks, we have been discussing the methods that Shantideva recommended, which is the method of exchanging oneself with others. So we stopped at this verse, verse 13, which is the beginning of the chapter of the subtopic of actual exchanging oneself with others. So this is like the summary. There are two subtopics, main topics. Doratemba, the Gyavar-shavas. So first the summary and then the elaboration. And under the first heading, which is the summary, there are two, divided into two. Tashin Jewe Tsul, how to practice exchanging oneself with others, and the reasons that one can one can accustomed to doing it, even though it sounds alien and it sounds difficult. But Shantideva provides reasons why it is possible to do so. So in the first summary is Dani Gyönje Shenla Yang Yunden Gyazur Shechene Tanzin Yonsu Torwada Shenla Wane Kombar Chaz. So the whole point of exchanging oneself is about exchanging this attitude. We are habituated in treating ourselves so important, cherishing ourselves, and sometimes we abuse others in order to benefit ourselves. So when it comes to other people, we tend to ignore or abandon. We care less, or we don't even care about others' welfare. So this has been habituated in our mind stream. So now Shantideva says that we have to switch that. Instead of cherishing ourselves, we should start cherishing others. Instead of ignoring others, disregarding others' welfare, we have to care and work for others, put others before ourselves. So that's the main point. And I was just thinking about it. And it is, if you really contemplate on that concept, it is such a marvelous, such a powerful practice. It's just that we lack. We fail to do it. If we see the reason if we see the power of that concept, that practice, and if we work towards developing that, and the benefits we can derive from that practice is unimaginable. For example, we don't need to try to practice that with everybody at the moment. Just start with your own family, with your partner, with your family members, with your siblings, with your children. And for example, just with your partners or husbands or wife or whoever you spend most of your time with. And when we really think about the relationships with somebody else, the one thing that really stains our relationship with somebody else is mostly because of these quarrels, these arguments, these what you call the family squabbles. And if we try to analyze each and every squabbles, each and every disagreements, each and every disputes, each and every arguments, each and every disappointments, we will find that underneath there is this self-cherishing attitude. We fail to cherish the other person. We put so much importance to ourselves and my things, my desire, my wish, my idea. Because of holding that so strongly, my idea should count, my liking should count, my wish should count, what I say should count. That, I think, is the cause of all our arguments. If you don't believe, just analyze. Just use one of your recent disputes with your significant other or somebody else. And if you dig deeper, at the core of it, it is all about me. There is this ego, there's this self-importance. So because of that, all these disagreements arises. And imagine if we are able to put others' interests before us. If we are able to exchange that habit instead of cherishing ourselves, if we are able to cherish others and able to regard ourselves less of an importance, everything will change. If you have that kind of attitude, wherever you go, whether you be in your house, whether you be interacting with your family members, your partners, your spouses, your children, your sibling, or at your workplace, there is no reason that things won't go well in terms of a good relationship. Remember, we have this phrase, oh, he's so sweet, she's so sweet. A sweet person, a really sweet person can get along with everybody. And what makes that person a sweet person? Because that person cares for you. That person shows interest in your welfare, So when somebody does that, we say, oh, he's so kind, so sweet. And who doesn't love a person who is kind and sweet? So the main ingredient of a sweet person, I believe, is that if we are able to show more concern, it's not superficial, it's a genuine sense of care, sense of concern for others. So if we are able to develop or increase that part, then there's no reason that we will be our relationship with others will be good. And then because of your attitude, everybody will be nice to you as well. And then wherever you go, you will be happy. You will be genuinely welcomed. We all know, we all have experienced that if we have somebody in the group who is so self-centered, who is so egoistic, who is always promoting himself, putting his interests at the top of everybody's interests, nobody likes to involve that person. Even if we are having a gathering, we will try not to invite that person. Imagine if you were that person, how would you feel? It's basically everybody hates you. Everybody dislikes you. Nobody wants to be that person. So that's one thing. We don't have to, develop this. I mean, at the moment, we even without developing this cherishing for others to every sentient beings, even we are able to do in that small circle, it can change our life drastically for the good. Of course, we have to extend that first to the small group and then extend, and eventually to extend to everybody. So in order to get a taste of it, I think it is good to try first in a small circle, and once you have this taste, then you would want more. It is like tasting the skin of a sugar cane. That's why when it comes to really practicing Dharma, we always use this analogy. A person who is just tasting the skin of a sugar cane, and somebody who is really tasting the inside, the real sugar cane. At the moment, most of us is only we are just tasting the skin and we think that, wow, that's so good, so sweet. But we haven't tasted the actual sugar cane. So it is first taste the skin, and then it will kind of invite us, push us to get the real thing. That's one part. The other part, we say we practice, we are Mahayana practitioner. We want to develop Bodhicitta. We want to achieve enlightenment. The achieving the enlightenment is not for me, not for us. I want to liberate sentient beings. I cannot bear sentient beings undergoing so much suffering. I must help them. I must liberate them. But at the moment, I don't have the capability of liberating even one sentient being, let alone all sentient beings. So in order to have that ability, I need to become Buddha first. So that's the whole idea. So if that is the real intention, then we can start at this stage. Even though at this stage we cannot really liberate sentient beings, but at least we can help prevent others from committing negative actions such as anger, hatred, jealousy. How we can prevent that? Through practicing this exchanging exchanging ourselves with others. So if we are able to be less self-interested, if we are able to put others' interests first, less people will be angry with you, less people will be jealous with you, less people will talk negatively about you. So these are the ways we can help prevent others from committing negative actions. Because if we facilitate others to commit negative actions, then we are prolonging their stay in samsara. We are not helping to speed their journey to Buddhahood. So practicing this, exchanging oneself with others, has this kind of effect. You are not directly, actively not trying to prevent them, but because you practice that, it has impact that others won't get angry at you. You do not, become the source of others' negative actions. So from these 2 points, there is reason, ample reason, to develop this kind of attitude, this kind of mindset. So that's why here the main point is that we have to develop that by contemplating on the faults of cherishing ourselves. We know that self-cherishing is the source of all our problems, whereas cherishing others is the source of all the good qualities. So therefore, after contemplating on that, we come to a decision that from today onwards, I will reject all selfishness and habituate myself to cherishing others. So that's what we covered. So now let's go to today's. So now we see the benefits of exchanging oneself with others. We see the quality, we see the merits, and we really want to pursue that. But then we may think that, oh, even though there's a lot of benefits, a lot of reasons to develop that kind of attitude, but sentient beings are countless. It's an infinite number. I won't be able to really do that. So this is Shantideva addressing that doubt. In the same way as the hands and so forth are regarded as limbs of the body, likewise, why are embodied creatures not regarded as the limbs of life? Chita lakpa laksopa luji yanla yindu tar. Dishin rowe yanla tu chichir lujen nam midus. They say that in our human body, there are, on average, 206 bones. And when it comes to nerves, they say that there are 7 trillion nerves. Even though there are so many parts, it's like an unimaginable number. But we kind of group them. We lump them together as my body. And by doing that, we are able to cherish all that part. So that's what Shantideva is saying. In the same way as the hands and so forth are regarded as limbs of the body, likewise, why are embodied creatures not regarded as limbs of life? So it's like treating all sentient beings as part of sentient beings, part of your family. So this is very important. Common humanity. When we are able to view or perceive everybody as one, as common, as same. That's why His Holiness always promotes this sameness, common humanity. And I think you have heard His Holiness mention this very frequently. His Holiness says that whenever he meets people, he relates to the person as another sentient being. And His Holiness always views himself as another human being. Never ever view him as, I am the Dalai Lama. And His Holiness says that if he were to view himself as Dalai Lama, and then others as, ordinary people, then His Holiness says that His Holiness will be left alone, would feel lonely because there's only one Dalai Lama. So this is very important, especially especially at this time. So there's a lot of discrimination. Discrimination arises because of this absence of this feeling of sameness. Always try to distinct. Always make difference, find differences. If we are able to find common features, common grounds, I don't know about here, but in Tibetan culture, we have this, I don't know what is the English term, we call it Payujikpa. If you are from the same ethnicity, same place, they have this special treatment. Oh, we are from the same area. So suddenly there is this fondness, there's affection, there's caring. So if we are able to treat everybody as from the same planet, we are from all earth dwellers, then there is no discrimination. So the point is, it is a matter of how we view things, how we view sentient beings. If you treat all sentient beings as one sentient being, as a family of sentient beings, as a part of sentient beings, then Shandita is saying it is possible. It is not difficult. Because even though we have so many parts of the body, we are able to develop this cherishing attitude as our body, my body. Chidar tame lu ndela gombe tagi lo chungwa dishin simjin shenlayang gombe talo chi mi jis. So now we may think that there's a logic. There's a logic, but it is very hard. It's very difficult to do. So it's not just difficult. It's impossible. It's not possible to develop cherishing this attitude, this sense of cherishing, this attitude of cherishing to all the sentient beings, countless sentient beings. So Shantideva is refuting that. Through acquaintance has the thought of I arisen towards this impersonal body. So in a similar way, why should it not arise towards other living beings? As we discussed before, the body that we cherish so much, we treasure so much, it was not part of us. It came from our parents. But somehow we are able to develop this as my. It's all through habituation, all through acquaintance, all through accustoming. Accustomed to. Becoming accustomed to. So the main point here is that it is the practice. I have a mala here. So when you are accustomed to doing this, the what do you call the rolling the beads. So because you are used to it, you don't need conscious thought to roll it. As long as your hand comes in contact with the mala, then you automatically do it. That's because of acquaintance. That's because of habituation. So it's not just practicing one time and then it's, this is not possible. I don't know whether it is here or somewhere else. Maybe later, we will talk about it later. The main point is we have to engage in the practice repeatedly just practice one time, we cannot expect to have the result. So there's this danger for some people. They are so excited, so captivated when they first encounter Buddhism. And then they come with this assumption, this anticipation that I practice one time and then that's it. That's not easy. I think somebody made a comparison between other faith and Buddhism. And they said that in other faith is relatively easy because you just pray. You entrust everything to God. Please do this for me, please grant me this, and make fervent prayers. And they leave it up to the God or whoever they pray to. Whereas in Buddhism, praying is part of it, but the actual thing is that we have to work. Ngegi chola tarbe lamdembe tavarala rale shebarkis. Buddha has mentioned this, that I have shown you the paths to go to liberation. I've shown the path that leads you to liberation. But whether you get there or not depends on your practice, whether you put effort or not. And there's one stanza which I like very much, is that Memang Sangshin, Pemba Memang Sangshin, Pemba Telang Ne, never. Basically the point is that if you have a sickness, if you go to see a doctor, and you are so lucky to find the best doctors, and then he prescribes you the best medicines, and you are able to afford that expensive medicine. But if you don't get better because you don't take it, then it says that it's not the fault of the doctor. Neither is the fault of the medicine. Doctor is right. Doctor is a good doctor. The medicine has the ability to cure one's sickness, but it's just because that the patient didn't take the pill. So Buddhism is all about putting effort. And we have to expect there is no such thing as instant when it comes to Dharma practice. Even though many people chase after instant gratification, but in Buddhism it takes time, because we need to put effort. And most of us, it is understandable why we are unable to progress in our Dharma practice. Because of the 3 types of laziness. Remember, we discussed this before. The first laziness is we are so distracted by mundane things. Most of our time is wasted on mundane things, doing mundane things. And this thought arises that, oh, these are mundane things and I need to do real Dharma practice. When such thought arises, we always have this attitude, the procrastination. Or I see the point, it is very important to practice, but let me first finish this. I will do later. I'll do after I finish this project. I'll start doing serious practice once I retire. I will start my practices once my children are on their feet. So these are the procrastinations taught our practice. And then for some, what is called this self-demeaning attitude, this kind of a low self-esteem, that I cannot do that, I cannot achieve this, these are not for me. So these three types of laziness always prevent us from Dhamma practice. So that's why we don't see any results. It's not because that the practice failed. It's we failed the practice. So the point here is that we have to put effort. We have to do it repeatedly. Just meditating 5 minutes a day won't do. We cannot expect achieving enlightenment after meditating for 5 minutes. 대단하니 시행기도 최장어들 롬미 중스. 다니 기니 세수네 렌라 레와 미중신스. So the best part is when we are able to see the benefits of changing these two attitudes, and when we really embark on developing this change, the switch, when we start cherishing others, what will happen is we will joyfully, without anybody kind of pushing us, we will be able to joyfully, from our own side, work for others, help others. So when this happens, when I work in this way for the sake of others, I should not let conceit Lenla rewa mi junctions. So this is not really I should not, it's like the conceit would not arise. The feeling that I'm wonderful, I'm great, that I'm doing this. Because it is a genuine concern, genuine care. It is driven by compassion. It is driven by appreciation of others' kindness to us. It's like one is now trying to repay. So when all this comes, or driven by that kind of realization that others have been tremendously kind to us, then we never feel that I have done such a great favor to others. For example, if somebody has been very kind to us, and when we are able to do something for them, we don't feel that sense of conceit. We will be happy. So the analogy is, it is just like feeding myself. I hope for nothing in return. We feed our body, but we never feel that, oh, I have done a favor to my body. We don't feel that. kombe talo chi mi ki steda nani shengi tun che jang wazar lo me che tanyi ki ni se su ne len la rewa mi jung shin si tewe che dar chungu na mi nyen le jang ta sung ba di shin dro la sung sim dang nying je sim ni kombar chas. So therefore just as I protect myself from unpleasant things, however slight, in the same way I should habituate myself to have a compassionate and caring mind for others. So from now on, instead of caring for myself, instead of protecting myself all the time, or putting my protection before others, saying that I should, or in other way is like the way we protect ourselves. We are always, all the time, being very protective of ourselves. So likewise, we should extend that sense of concern to others as well. So here the example is even the unpleasant speech or words, as small as that kind, we should try to protect others from unpleasant experiences. So I think here the takeaway is what we can do is that we may not be able to protect everybody from hearing unpleasant things, but at least we can prevent, we can prevent us from hurling insults, using harsh speech to others. At least if we do that, there's one less person who is likely to cause unpleasantries to others. So that one we can do. It is up to us. We can refrain ourselves from using harsh speech. We can refrain ourselves from showing anger. We can be more patient with other person, no matter how unreasonable that person is. We can speak to the other person nicely instead of using harsh speech. So there are many things that we can do to reduce harm to others. That one, it is our choice. We have the ability, we have the freedom to do so. So we should start with that. It is out of his Dewe Gombo Chenre Sik Tuji Chimbu Doi Korji Jigba Sewe Chir Rangi Tsenya Shinji Laps. So this is to say that we should try even the slightest things to benefit others. And then Shantideva use Avalokiteshvara as an example. How Avalokiteshvara, even the small things, sometimes we have this tendency that, oh, these are small things. It doesn't matter. I don't have to do it. I want to do big things. So here is saying that even the slightest thing, even the small health, we should render. Like Avalokiteshvara, it is out of his great compassion that the Lord Avalokiteshvara has even blessed his name to dispel the nervousness of being among the other people. So, Chenresi, we call it Chenresi, Avalokiteshvara has made prayers that whoever recites my name dispel the nervousness. Some people have fright, stage fright, of anxiety, of fear in public speaking. So even that kind of a nervousness, Avalokiteshvara did not regard it as a small matter, small thing, and therefore I don't need to. Even for small things, the Bodhisattvas will try to help or eliminate if they can. So likewise, he's saying that we should not kind of devalue small health. So the story goes like this. Before Avalokiteshvara became Buddha, so during one of his many lifetimes, Avalokiteshvara was born as a son of a king. Kolojuba Tsibji Mojuji says, Tuo Migmen Zumbars. So the name is Tuo Migmen Zumba, one who doesn't close eyes. And at that time, that Bodhisattva has made prayers that may I be able to perpetually look at the sufferings of the sentient beings, and may I be able to eliminate all that pain and suffering of sentient beings. And then there are various, and whoever recites my names, may they be free from all sufferings, may they be free from lower realms. So various prayers. And at that time, the Buddha, it was a different Buddha. So at that time, the Buddha, I don't know how to translate that in the essence of jewels. Is that so has made the prophecy that in the future, because you looked completely upon the realms of sentient beings, your name is therefore Avalokiteshvara. Tibetan we call it Chenresik, which means the Lord who looks down with compassion. So Bodhisattvas does not see small health as not necessary, not important. So likewise, we should also do our best out of compassion, helping other sentient beings, no matter whether it's a huge health or a small health. So this is about So I see the points, I see the benefits, but it is difficult to do. I cannot do. So we may feel that way, because exchanging oneself with others, putting others before ourselves, is not an easy task. First of all, it requires such a courage. And then when you actually practice it, it is not easy. So sometimes we feel that this is impossible for me to do. So here is said that Kale chirto mejade dedar kombe tuyini kangi mingtu jigbayang tini mena migar jurus. So the difficulty shouldn't be the reason not to do it. I should not turn away from what is difficult. For by the power of familiarity, I may be made unhappy even when someone whose name once frightened me is not around. So I have an image here. People like to go to gym and build their body. It's not easy. But they still do it. The first time you go and do it, it's not easy. You may be able to lift only, I don't know, if you are trying to use the dumbbells, you may be able to do maybe 5 lifting of that. But if you go regularly, then there will become a time that you can do this 50 times easily. This is all because of familiarity, because of engaging in it repeatedly. And eventually you will see the results. Your chest will start to swell and then all these, 3 packs or 6 packs will start to appear. So likewise, when it comes to practicing, exchanging oneself with others, we have to engage in the practice repeatedly and make our mind familiarize with the practice. And then it is possible. The analogy here is that I may be made unhappy even when someone whose name once frightened me is not around. There are cases where one time that person is your arch enemy, your nemesis. You cannot even stand 1 second with that person. But then there will come a time when you became friends, and then you became your buddy, and then it's like you cannot live without that person. And this one, I think it applies with those who have a bitter divorce. When they first got married, when they first met, the romance is so strong, the love to each other is so strong that one cannot bear to separate from that person even for 1 minute. And then as the years pass by, and there comes a time where you cannot stand that person even for one second. So these are all, through familiarity. And familiarity is one thing, and also this is more like a possibility. And I think we have something called Stockholm Syndrome, where the victim kind of develops affection and fondness to their captors. So it's such a bizarre thing, but mind is so strange that one can develop affection to one's own captor. So if such is possible, then why not? And kanshi tadan shen namni nyudu kyabar dyoba te tadan shen du che chawo samyan tamba chebar chas. This is a very famous line which is quoted all the time. So this is like the gist of it. Thus, whoever wishes to quickly afford protection to both himself and the other beings, that is through developing bodhicitta, through developing this attitude of exchanging oneself with others. One should practice that holy secret. So this practice, the exchanging oneself with others, is termed as secret practice, because those days it's not common, and those people who have no affinity in what do you say, bodhicitta, those who are destined, those who have more inclinations toward the what you call the path of Sravaka, or the hearer, the path of hearer, and the solitary realizers. So they cannot even fathom the concept, let alone practicing. So it really scares people. And even in Tibet, this practice was kept secret for a long time. That's why we Lojong practice. Lojong practice, the mind training, which is basically the core ingredient is this one, thus exchanging oneself with others. So that was only what you call pass on through pass on to a selected group of students or disciples. Never taught this in public until what's his name now? Not Sharava. The one who composed the 7-point mind training. So he felt that it was such a waste. It is too precious not to share with the bigger audience. And that's the first time it was made public through this 7-point mind training. So when he first when he first encountered the 8 verses of mind training, where it says that I will offer victory to others and I will take upon myself the defeat, he was so mesmerized, and he went to look for the teacher, Chekawa. Now I remember, Chekawa. So Chekawa went to look for the teacher. At that time, Langri Thamba has already passed away, but he managed to meet his Langri Thamba's student, and from him he received the teachings. And then he felt that it is too precious not to share with the public. And that's how it became public. So in those days, these are kept secret, because the danger is that if this is taught to somebody who is not what we call the right vessel, they may completely develop kind of distrust. They will lose faith in Buddhism. So there's this danger. That's why we always caution that you cannot just make openly, share Dharma things. We have to see whether that person is ready for such a teaching. Anyway, so that's for this week. And I really hope that you find at least one takeaway from this class. And then experiment. Put on your scientist cap, researcher cap, and experiment in your family, in your house, with your family members, and see their reaction, their responses when you put their interests before you. You may be surprised to hear a response. Are you in your sound mind? Are you feeling okay? Because it's completely different response, different attitude that the person is witnessing. So that's a good sign. That will bring harmony in the house. That will enhance one's relationship and thereby create the happy environment. Life is too short. Why not spend in joy and happiness? Why waste time in that tense moment with scorns and angry faces? Good luck. Thank you. Taki jinyi sawe gyawa de tendan rowa kunla kangben dan gyabara chizun losan chakpa yi tenbe nyingbo ringdo se je sho jambe bayu jedara jamba dan kundu zambu tenyang dejendo teta kunge jesu talobji Jawa deda damje rabdo ngo dezun jebe jawa damje je ngowa gangla chodo ngaban de dage jebe sawan de gunja zambo jeje rabdo ngowa ranjes. Thank you.